Okay, hi everyone. Today is June 7, 2023. And as you can see from my slides, I have today with me some important guests from the ASLAG Corp. Today we actually have Sir Roger Nepomuceno. He is the current CFO of ASLAG. We also have Engineer Paulo Usi, who's the current research engineer for business development, all the engineering and solar projects related to ASLAG. We also have accounting manager, Ma'am Epifania Moral. So they've been with the company since inception, and it's actually a pleasure for me to invite and ask them questions pertaining to the company. Specifically, we're actually celebrating as well ASLAG's 1-year IPO anniversary. So ASLAG actually, for those who aren't aware, let's just give you some 5-minute heads up what ASLAG does. So ASLAG was actually one of the solar pioneers in the Philippines. In fact, it is the only profitable solar firm so far, at least in the Philippines, that's listed. We have been seeing their revenues swell. Actually, for 2022 and the recent corporate earnings update, revenues have been soaring, particularly because of the commercialization of their third plant, ASLAG 3. So they let's just take a look at the milestones of the company. The company established ASLAG in 2013. These slides are also available in the PSE website and in the raslag.com.ph. This is the exact presentation, May 9, 2023, given by the company for PSE Star. PSE Star is for small and medium enterprises, wherein most investors still don't have knowledge of what these companies do. So they try to inspire or educate and make Filipinos more aware about the company. So today, actually, here in Awesome10X, that's also our goal, just to actually educate, inform you, and give you updates, especially since it's been 1 year since the company has IPO'd, and we wanted to show to you whether the use of proceeds for any shareholders out there have been used for the proper construction and whatever they wanted to grow, diba, for their milestones. So we can see that the IPO was listed actually last year, June 6, 2023, so 2022. So this is their 1-year anniversary. They actually completed ASLAG 3, which is an 18 megawatt ASLAG plant. In fact, on 2023, they're already constructing and operating a bigger plant, ASLAG 4, 36 megawatt. This is the highest plant capacity to date. And if you take a look at this 36 megawatt, it's actually double what it's actually going to be equivalent to double their current capacity. So we can actually expect a 100% revenue growth if ever these, I'm not sure if we will ask them later if this is true, if we can expect 2024 to be a 100% increase in revenue simply because of the increase in the megawatts that's also produced. Take note as well that the company has been growing their plants 10 plus 13 plus 18. That means they currently have a commercial capacity installed of about 41. So if they add the 36, that would be 77. And these are the current, no? So 10 plus 13 plus 18. And then the upcoming is the 36 megawatt in Pampanga. What's more important to share is, of course, their growth as well. These have already been down payment for the ASLAG 5, which is going to be in Sabah, Hermosa, Bataan. This is a 45 megawatt installed capacity. And the beautiful thing about all of these solar projects is that it will not have any problem in terms of derailment or delays because we've learned that all of these are all connected to the grid or very proximate to the grid. Should be noted for those who are very new in terms of solar projects, they are here to, of course, define how solar projects are currently made, how the financials look like. They're of course gonna explain why they chose these certain locations, diba? And how the fit rate and WESM rate basically affects their revenues and profitability. So I'll try to discuss on my best interpretation of the slides, and then please feel free, Ma'am Fanny, to correct me in case I make a mistake. As we can see here on the slides that they've shared in PSC Star, it's very clear that the RASLAG 1 and 2, which was 2015 to 2018 until today, because of the fit rates, they are able to generate quite a high percentage, no? So you can see that the Solar Fit 1, the yellow line here, is able to sell at quite high rates, 9 pesos to 11 pesos. The blue line here, Solar Fit 2, also still high, 8 to about 10. And then the WSM rate, it fluctuates. It's quite difficult to basically sell a good rate when there is a pandemic because there's a low demand. But we can see that there was quite a strong profitability once it breached about 6 pesos here and 8 pesos. Upon questioning them, I asked them actually how much the average cost of every RASLAG plants there are. And maybe actually this is a good question to ask. I know the answer, but maybe Ma'am Fanny and Engineer Angelo can explain further to people how to understand these attractive fit rates, how to understand the revenue of each solar plant that RASLAG has, whether it's 1, 2, and WSM 3. Who wants to answer that? Ma'am Fanny ba? Sige, Ma'am Fanny, maybe tell them, tell the viewers out there, what would be the impact of the WSM rates based on your production cost, and then yung payback periods, mga ganyan, for 1, 2, and 3.
For RASLAG 1, our rate is 9.68. And then for RASLAG 2, our fit rate is 8.69. In 2020, we were given the by ERC to recover the 5 years increases in bulk. So there was a big difference of our income recorded in 2020 pertaining to the fit rate adjustment. While in RASLAG 3, we are not, RASLAG 3 is not under fit rate anymore. This was, we are selling through WSM as a merchant plant. So, but we, as of now, we are having a good rate or around 8 pesos per kilowatt hour. So by 2023, we projected it at 750 per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
So, yes.
So I understand that the cost of most of these solar power plants is around roughly 4 to 5 pesos po ba? For all the, per kilowatt for all the plants. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So basically, if I would just assume the lowest price to sell for Solar Fit 1 at 9.68 and the lowest price at 8.69 and the lowest price for Solar 3, RASLAG 3 at 750, you're able to generate 50% or more na revenues versus your cost, 5 versus 7.5 or higher. That's
Yes.
correct, no? Okay, sige. So as viewers can see, this company generally enjoys attractive fit rates, and even the WSM rates, which are comparatively lower, is still high versus their production costs. When you talk about these privileges like fiscal incentives, can any of you explain what these escalating tariffs, fiscal incentives, these privileges that you were awarded for the fit rounds 1 and 2? What's an example of the incentive here? May ano ba yan? May mga tax breaks ba yan? Or it's more of just enjoying high rates?
For the fit plants, RASLAG 1 and 2, we have various incentives such as the income tax holiday for 7 years. And also we have duties and taxes incentives for the renewable energy equipment. So for the VAT, in selling it to the to the market, I think it's VAT zero rated.
Okay.
So we are not charged with that.
Okay.
So those are some of the incentives.
So I will summarize that the solar Fit 1 and Fit 2, you are able to generate, number one, higher than normal rates. It's 8.69 and 9.68 at the minimum. So it can keep on escalating. You also have that income tax holiday for 7 years. You also are VAT zero rated. And as a renewable energy, you are a priority in the country's growth efforts. Just to learn more about the payback period, Ma'am Fanny, versus the 1, 2, and 3, can you explain to us how competitive solar energy construction payback, the payback period for most of these projects, 1, 2, and 3, and if you can forecast the number, the ASLAG 4 or ASLAG 5, so that they have an idea how profitable solar power plants are.
Yes. For ASLAG 1, our ROI is around 7.5 years. And then for ASLAG 2, because the technology get advanced, or we generate more on the panels, and we get with a higher capacity, our ROI is around 4.5 years. And for ASLAG 3, it's around, we could say it's around 7 years, due to our projected amount of selling price of around 7.5 to 8 pesos per kilowatt hour.
Okay, so when you're saying that you are expecting to recover all your capital cost in 7 years, does that mean that since Solar Fit 1 started 2015, that means that as of 2022, that was fully paid for, organic cash flows? Tama po ba? Kasi the Solar Fit 1 started operating 2015. So that means that as of 2023, fully paid na ng lahat ng cash flows yung Solar Fit 1, and the money can be deployed to Solar 4, 5, tama po ba?
Yeah, yes.
So that means as well that the Solar Fit 2, which started in Fit 2 was, kailan nga ba to? Solar
December
6 months
2 was
ASLAG 1.
2016. So
December 23, 2020, 2015. Same year po sila for ASLAG.
So 2021. So halos both 1 and 2 have already recovered all their capital expenditures. That means that only nagbabayad na lang ng interest expense would be the current Solar 3 and the current solar, and then the future growth na, no? So 3, 4, so far, parang yon. Kasi under construction yung 4. Tama po ba? From a financial expense perspective, halos bayad na yung 1 and 2. Or yung 1 halos tapos na, yung 2, year 2015. So kung na payback period na siya ng mga 5 years, so recovered na rin.
Yes.
Tama po ba? Okay, so 1 and 2 are already fully paid for. And in terms of like debt equity,
I'd like just to make a correction. They're not really fully paid for level up to 2022. I think what you're saying is that in terms of the cash flow, na siya, pero it's not yet fully paid.
Okay. So the cash flows, sige. I guess what I meant was the cash flows more than pay for the capex.
Yeah. That's the reason why we're able to give dividends. We give dividends.
Okay, yeah. So for 1 and 2, we are continually paying the interest expense, although the cash flows are huge. So we're giving dividends as a result.
Yeah,
no?
and
growing the
bank loan
business.
is not only interest; it includes the capital.
Capital, yes.
Yeah.
True.
So Fanny, if I'm not mistaken, these loans will end by 2027. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
Okay.
2027, yan talagang fully paid na sila.
Mhm. Can we explain to the market the general funding capacity of solar? I understand that solar projects are given priority. So parang mababa yung interest, no? It's about 6% lang a year. Is that correct?
Yeah,
The
more or less.
financing, more or
Yeah,
less.
yes.
So yeah, and because the financing is 6%, you are able to generate these attractive payback periods of at least 4.5 to 7 years payback period. Am I
Yes,
correct
and,
in that
yes, and
assessment?
the technology
Advancement.
for ASLAG 3, the panels are already different. Engineer OC has more info on what kind of panels we now use. And then even the voltage out is already different.
Mhm.
The first two projects, it was more or less 1 megawatt per 1 hectare. So now for ASLAG 3, we are producing around 1.4 megawatts per hectare. So because of the technological
More efficient solar
it's more
panel.
efficient solar panels.
Okay. So yeah, maybe give us some color on the effectiveness on the installation capacity of the third plant versus the first and second, so that the viewers can know how much capacity or how much higher generation of electricity these future plants are compared to the first two. Siguro engineer, you have more ideas on the
can
solar
answer that.
panel about these
Yes.
advancements. Okay.
For ASLAG 1 and 2, the current ratio of the capacity in terms of land area is around 1 megawatt per hectare,
Mhm.
because ASLAG 1 is around 13 hectares and ASLAG 2 also around 13 hectares. So in average, it's around 1:1.
Mhm.
But for ASLAG 3, there's been a huge improvement. It became almost 1.4 megawatt per hectare.
Mhm.
That's why for the 12.8 hectares of land, we were able to put out an 18 megawatt solar. Now for ASLAG, for another huge improvement, we are around 1.5 megawatt per hectare. So the total area is 25 hectares, and we were able to install 36.646 megawatt peak.
For just a projection per se, no, given that RASLAG 4 is double the capacity of RASLAG 3 and is expected to generate power, let's say not necessarily on the first quarter of 2024, let's say it generates electricity on second quarter 2024, is it proper to forecast that by 2024, RASLAG could more than double the revenues? Kasi from 18 to 36, sabihin na lang natin sa 36 megawatts, it's not a full year power generation. Kung hindi man 100% yung increase ng revenue,
Yeah,
would
the
50% be possible?
No, the revenue increase cannot reach 100% because FIT1 and FIT2 are
Higher rates kasi
ASLAG 1 and ASLAG 2 have FIT in
of
it.
8.
Well, yeah, for ASLAG 4, we're also planning to just make it a merchant plant. So we're also going to sell to SM. So the SM rates are definitely lower than the FIT rates. So it won't really double.
Mhm. So assuming that we are still able to sell it at 7 pesos above, maybe not a double, but due to the increase of volume, then at least assume 40 to 50% growth. Kasi
definitely.
just the fact that it's higher sales, no? Higher
Yes.
installed capacity. So sige, we'll just make an assumption that it's about 50%. So looking at your current numbers as of 2022, we see that your revenues here grew 30%. You were able to actually pay a dividend of about 3 centavos on the first year of your listing. And it looks like because 2023, has a higher construction and higher capacity, higher installed capacity. Looks like 2023 and 2024 looks bright for dividend investors. Is it possible just to give a assumption that the 3 centavos given last year, 2022, will be perpetually there or even increasing the dividends given these higher revenues?
Yes.
Anyone can answer.
Fanny has a slide regarding
Dividends.
dividend.
Sige.
But these are just projections. I'd like to clarify. These are not actual figures yet. But
Okay.
since they are only projections, we were allowed by our lawyer to share them to you.
Mhm.
Fanny, can you share the
Ma'am
projections?
Fanny, can you share the projected dividends for 2023 and 2024? I mean, well, maybe 2023 kasi
2023.
hindi pa nagagawa yung 2024 na data eh. Wala pa yung construction ng
Yeah,
ASLAG.
and if you remember right, while Fanny is looking for the numbers, it's in our prospectus that at least 50% will be given out as dividends, 50% of the free
in earnings,
yeah
net income for the year.
for the year. So even if we're not mandated to like rates, we will definitely give dividends this year. But as of now, we don't have any scheduled BOD meeting yet. So only the board can really say how much dividends we're going to give this year.
All right. So for most people who don't know ASLAG, no, they usually consider utility firms as a dividend play. They usually consider electricity as a staple, defensive kasi siya dahil people have to use electricity all day long, like water. Could we consider a solar power plant a very stable, highly visible recurring cash flow such that these dividends are not expected to go down at any point in the year? Kumbaga, if we saw 3 centavos payment, chances are it's 3 cents or higher pa for the next year to come.
Yes, definitely.
That's an assumption, no?
Yeah,
Pero
that's
that's a valid assumption.
Yeah, that's a valid assumption because every time a plant goes online, the revenue stream increases.
So higher revenues, higher income translates to higher dividends over time.
Yes.
Okay. So and we can clearly see that you have been in operation since 2015. So 8
Yes,
years na yung
we are one of the
business.
pioneers in the industry.
Yeah,
Actually, for
and
Fit
you're
1, I think we were the second. Am I correct, Angelo? And then for Fit 2, we were the first, tama ba?
Yes po. First for the round 2.
Okay, sige. Go ahead and share whatever these dividends are. Okay, so currently the projected dividends are 3 cents.
3 cents. The dividend yield is 2.06%.
Mhm.
Our projected, ma'am, for this year, so if it would be the same as last year, the dividend yield would be 2.39. And then if we give 75 million or 0.05 per share, we will have a dividend of 3.57. Angela, at the lower part, we assume that our dividend to be doubled or 100 million or 0.0667%, we would have a dividend yield of 4.76%. So these are the projected dividends, ma'am, for 2023.
And these dividend projections are driven by the fact that you have higher sales revenues this year because of the plant na nagkaroon ng 18 megawatt na construction for ASLAG 3. So generally, tumaas yung revenues nyo talaga siya. And then you're projecting 7.5 WSM rate. Di naman na yun. Yun yung mga project assumption, no?
Yeah. It is
7.5
conservative now on our part, the 7.5 per kilowatt hour assumption.
kilowatt hour. Yeah, okay. So either you either you guys will pay 3 cents or 5 cents or 6 cents. It all depends on the actual end of year income, no? All right. So, and then I also saw sa taas you are computing the PE ratio. Your projected income here is about 100 million po ba or 50 million? This 11 cents per share.
This 11 cent per share is based on last year's
Last year's
performance.
income.
Yes, December
So,
31.
so assuming that you don't actually increase your earnings, even if it looks like the earnings are increasing, the company is competitively priced in today at 12 times PE, and it could be lower, depending of course if the income actually grows higher based on yung sales and yung yun nga, depending on the WSM rate then, no? So the company is actually considered a small company today. Market cap is about 2 billion. Outstanding shares is 1.5 billion. We have seen that the company has also been acquiring shares ever since listing a year ago. Is there a possibility that this company could, although I think naman na natapos na yata yung buyback program, no? Ng treasury ba?
No, we didn't buy back ng treasury. We didn't didn't buy any shares. Our affiliates bought into
the IPO price and from the open market.
Yeah, from the open market. Yeah.
All right. So the company's plan is to increase the dividends, which is a good thing for all the shareholders, as long as the income hits 50 or 75 or 100 million. Okay, thank you for this illustration. I think the thing that we could also share to people would be, so on your presentation deck, let me share lang this presentation deck. Okay, so it looks like the company's revenues income is projected to go higher for 2023 and 2024. I think one thing that we should share is there is a misnomer from most people on the grid, no? So they don't understand why the utility firms like you guys are concentrated in Pampanga or in Bataan or in Tarlac. Maybe Sir Angelo can explain to our viewers here, how do you actually come up with the solar projects that you are approving or looking to build, and what's the criteria? Sige. For the 5
on the projects of ASLAG, of course, we must first verify the land if it's feasible for solar. So once it's verified it's feasible for solar, we are gonna immediately check if there's an available line or transmission line from the grid, because this is very important. If you want to meet your timeline for the project, you must be sure that you can already connect or tap to the grid for your plant when it finishes construction. So those are the major things that we are considering for the solar plants. And the reason why we are here in Pampanga, because the owners are officers and directors, so they are residing here in Pampanga, so they are initially eyeing for developing Pampanga. But we are not limited to those areas, because like for our upcoming projects, we are looking at Bataan and in Tarlac. So we can supply our generation because we are supplying to the national grid, not just in that particular area. So I think that's it for those explanation.
Okay, so just to recap, the company already has secured six properties. These are all may down payment ng ASLAG 6 ba? Tama ba to? this ASLAG 6 was already paid for ba? Even if operations are starting 2028? I think I saw yung Bataan, ito yung may down payment, no? This year. Tama ba?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Miss Nikki.
So, lahat to currently, ano na lang, dinedevelop. So, I'm just gonna add all of them, no? So, you actually have existing operations, 10 plus 13 plus 18, that would be 41. And then we are expecting to add 3 plants next year, 36, plus 45, plus 58. So these are estimates, but those would add up to 77 plus 45 plus 58, 15, 20, 11. So you're already at 180 megawatts if all these 6 come into commencement by 2028. And you're targeting actually about 250 megawatts by 2030. Is that the correct parang target? Just from a targeting perspective. I just added all of your current 6 plants. So that's 180 versus yung targeted 250. So you're about 75% of your target by 2028.
Yes, that's correct. And we are continuously looking for land to purchase, to convert to solar. Because, in our business model, we buy our land. We do not lease land for the solar projects. Because we need to buy the land because it's used as collateral for the
Okay. Sige. So actually all these 6 properties are owned by ASLAG today. And then for generation of electricity.
Yes,
in 20 years, no? Yung electric generation per plant.
Yes. The solar panels are rated that have a lifespan of 25 years.
25 years.
20. And then every year there's a degradation of I think it's 0.5. It's correct, Angelo? It's a so it's already factored in. Yeah, the degradation of the solar panels.
Okay, so this was written in your presentation. One of the reasons why all of the plants are also located in Central Luzon is because it is one of the most yun nga, sabi niyo, high irradiance, availability of suitable flat land. So one of the reasons, aside from the fact that you are Pampangueños, is that nagkataon that is also the perfect area for PV power potential. Tama po. So chamba na rin na kumbaga you guys are residing there and it's also one of the highest in terms of solar power generation.
Yeah, if you look at the map, you can see this. Is it red or pink? The concentration of areas where there's high irradiance. There's also this misconception that it has to be warm. No, it doesn't have to be warm. It's solar. So what you need is the sunlight. It's not the warmth.
When you say high irradiance, ibig sabihin ba hindi siya natatamaan masyado ng ulan? I mean, what happened?
No, ma'am.
Talagang nag-reflect lang.
High irradiance meaning you can extract more light from the sun. Wow. But for the rain, it's equally distributed in the Philippines because we're just the same. So higher radiance means more sunlight that we can absorb.
Okay. Can you explain furthermore what this nakasulat dito, Region 3, 5.79% sales growth per year. So ano to? Yan yung naproproduce region or yan yung demand? What's this ba?
That is the average demand growth for the electricity.
Ang laki
So
pala ng demand growth dito.
yes,
12%.
yes, ma'am.
Region 10 is
Because
what ba? Sorry, hindi ko alam yung mga
because
regions. Region 10 is Visayas na, no? There's a 12.8%
yes, ma'am.
growth.
Based on the
12%.
average growth. So if you have more subdivision, malls, or and other growth there, so that is the average growth in demand per year.
So mas malaki talaga yung average na sales in NCR. It says here from 43, what's this, terawatts per hour, to 57
Terawatts per year. Yeah.
projection. And then terawatts per year. So this means that from a demand perspective, you're very confident about the growth. Sabagay, hindi naman talaga tayo mawawalan ng demand dahil mas shortage ang energy natin. Okay, so right now, the highest capacity for energy plan is this green is the target. Okay, so malayo tayo sa target, no? Actually, 7,000 yung renewable. Ang target is mag 53,000 and 81,000. But this is the government plan. So you're taking part on this green revolution to keep on growing. How fast is the installation capacity? It takes about 1 year when you buy the property, construct the plant, roughly po. So that the viewers know.
In general, I think I can estimate it for 1 to 2 years, depending on how fast the conversion for the property will be, and also with various permits and requirements needed by the government.
So as early as 2023, you already have actually projected megawatts until 2028. So anything that you do for 2024 should hopefully be 2026 to 2030 na commencement. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So these are the current directors, and the financial highlights was, I think medyo okay naman yung mga questions kanina about the fit rates, about the income. Actually, the margins are pretty high. Is this something that the entire industry generally gets, or is it because you had a fit rate in the first two, kaya mataas yung gross profit margin? Do you think that the gross profit margin expectation for 2023 is lower because of the WSM rates? Kasi diba 7 peso per per 7.5 versus dating 9 and 10. Should we project that gross profit margin will be slightly lower, or is it tama ba yung 70?
Yeah, Ms. Nikki, it would be the same, just the same. Nandun lang din
Just
po
the
sa
same.
yan na yan. Yes.
Yeah.
So for
because yung efficiencies yung cost.
dahil sa efficiency.
Yeah. So more or less nag-balance out na. Yung first two plants, they were really the most expensive plants. That's why the government put up this FIT scheme to give investors a good rate so that they can be assured of income, so that they will invest. They didn't give that FIT rate. I doubt it if people will invest.
Okay, so what you believe in is that this gross profit margin, due to the 40 to 50% higher efficiency of ASLAG 3, 4, 5, 6, kahit at 7.5, gross profit margin will be maintained at 70%, even at 7.5. Okay, tama naman kasi, o nga naman, no, na offset siya ng volume. Correct. And then,
We just
because
don't have the exact figure sheet.
it's okay. Hindi naman kailangan accurate, but precisely if what happened in 2021, 2022, that we can project 2023
And
to be
as we add plants, the revenue will definitely increase. So it's the same with all of the solar companies. As they add the plants, the revenue increases, and so does the income.
For every, if it's possible to ask, for every plant, no, you are generating ngayon 18 megawatts on the ASLAG 3. Even with the same, di ba nga, same lang 12 hectares lang siya, no? Just like 1 and 2, it was about 12 to 13 hectares, but higher installed capacity because of the yun nga, efficiency. Does that mean that from a operational expense perspective, cheaper din ba? Kasi lahat ng nag-operate ng 1 and 2 is the same type of operating expense din sa ASLAG 3, but higher higher capacity generation.
Yeah, more or less the
OPEX is the same.
OPEX is the same.
Okay.
And then for information, our OPEX is the plants are operated and maintained by a third party because it's a requirement to keep the warranty of the equipment. It has to be an authorized operator.
Okay. And then when you talk about this efficiency, it's all hailing from China, no? Is it possible to divulge that these solar panels are manufactured by China and then they maintain it? Tama po ba? So, sabagay 95% ata ng solar panels in the world is manufactured in China.
No, yung nagme-maintain is a Philippine company na yan. It's just the solar panels are all from China, but the inverters and the other electrical equipment are not from China.
In here na sa Philippines.
No, galing Europe yung iba dyan. The panels that are really Chinese.
For ASLAG 1 and 2, ma'am, yeah, we have still European inverters. But for ASLAG 3, ASLAG 4, they are mostly from China.
Okay, so and they're more efficient as you said, no? So manufactured and maintained na rin by Chinese yung mga inverters. Okay. Sige. Looks like naman, I think I covered almost all. So you are not REIT, but definitely people can expect dividends due to the higher income. Growth pipeline is there. Good relationships with all the regulatory bodies. You've got a good long-term facility. So it's correct to assume that all these loan facilities are are just 6%, no? Which is very competitive no matter the interest rates rising today.
No, the rates are not fixed.
Na ba?
Sila floating. Pero since we have a relationship with the bank, I think it's there in the disclosure naman that they are allowing us to set fixed rate for, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 5 years. Okay,
so parang from the ASLAG 3, yung project was fully funded here. No IPO proceeds or
no IPO proceeds. That's why your question earlier regarding the IPO proceeds, I think Fanny can answer where the IPO proceeds were used.
Sige. Can you answer that, where the IPO proceeds were used?
Yeah. The IPO proceeds, we allotted 380 million for ASLAG 4, and then 250 million for ASLAG 5, and then the 17 million for company business operations. That's where the IPO proceeds of ASLAG goes, ma'am. Okay, so far 4, 5, 6 have been funded by the IPO, 380 million, 250 million, and 17 million working capital, no? Roughly, those were paid for, and then the rest are funded na by internal generated funds, and then some are bank loans. Currently, the bank loan is 6%, tama po ba? For a 10-year loan?
sa can you give more idea on the financing aspect of RASLAG 4?
Or
RASLAG RASLAG 4 ba? Kasi RASLAG 3 is
yeah.
funded,
Tapos na yun eh. It's a 70-30
70% bank loan.
bank loan, 30% equity.
Oo. And then the bank loan is at 6% or 70% bank loan, more or less, no? Yeah, it's a cheap funding facility provided by BPI and China Bank. Tama po ba?
No, for this particular, it was just BPI.
Okay. That's for the RASLAG 4.
Actually, as of now, all of our plants are funded by BPI.
BPI. So that's also, okay. BPI 3 and 4. Okay. Thank you. All right. I think I covered most of the important details. Did I miss funding is WSM rates naman to lahat.
Yeah. I think what we have to point out is we still have another lot which were supposed to be originally for RASLAG 4. Tama ba ako? Yeah, it was but we still have a 44 to 45 hectare lot in Mexico, Pampanga. But we said we have a problem with connectivity. So that property is still on hold, although we already have got stockholders permission to sell that property. We haven't sold it yet.
All right. So we're waiting for either magkaroon ng approval on that. As you said, it's a 44 hectare property, no, in Mexico, Pampanga. It could either be paid, it could be the down payment for Bataan and Tarlac. Parang ilipat na lang doon.
Yeah. If we sell it, if we eventually decide to sell it. Because we are also banking on maybe NGCP would increase the capacity of that line. So we don't have to sell
so that you don't have to sell it.
Yeah, we could just connect again.
All right. So sayang naman kasi kung marami na kayong grid in Pampanga, might be better to keep it unless the selling price is really, really good.
Correct. And then we don't want to sell it yet until we find properties that could
replace the 44 hectares.
Because the investors might think that we just
pocket again.
Pocketed the gain or
yeah.
So we're going to reinvest that.
Oo. Tsaka mukha namang hindi problema yung funding ninyo sa lahat ng sites.
Yeah, definitely.
Complete naman yung funding nito. Okay. So I think most of the important ones have been covered. So I guess to end today's Q&A, I of course wanted to thank you guys for indulging in this interview. I hope that all the viewers understand better the solar energies companies in the Philippines. This is one of those small companies. Its market cap is currently 2 billion, roughly 2 billion peso. But we can clearly see that they could earn something like 100 million pesos due to the growth in their sites. No? Dumami kasi yung revenue generation. So assuming na conservative naman at 100 million, tama ba? Hindi ba 2 billion divided by 100 million is 20 times PE multiple? How come 12 times yung na-count nyo, Ma'am Fanny? Market cap ba niya less than 2 billion na? Teka, tingnan ko.
Yeah, actually, yun ang maganda yung performance ng kumpanya, yet stock price is really down. Like, I think that all the way down to 1.38 the other day.
Illiquid lang kasi nga most people don't know about the company.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to
it's the perception of the people. It's that only few people know the fundamentals. Some is it on
so,
their gut or
it's okay. So technically speaking, you have a 1.5 billion shares. Free float is 20%. Foreigners are allowed to buy 40. And then the current price today is 1.4. So according to the Philippine Stock Exchange Edge, you are currently trading near 52-week lows. Maliit lang naman yung value traded. So that means illiquid siya. Wala lang talaga nagtre-trade. And most people are disinterested. They're disinterested because they don't know much about the company. That's why we're doing this investors updates. And then, of course, people would take a look more on the company disclosures. The dividends are a good thing. So ano nga siya? Kung 2 billion and the projected income is nasa 100 million, 20 times PE. How did you come up with the 12 times PE, Ma'am Fanny? Wait, kasi dividend lang yung pinili. Sorry, 100 million is dividend. Sorry, kaya nga pala. 50% lang yung 100 million. The actual income is 200. So it's roughly 10 times PE lang pala, no? Sorry, ako yung nagkamali. Yeah, so you're between 10 times to 12 times PE ratio for the year. Okay. And then, wait lang Sige. Okay. Your roadmap is clear. Future roadmap is clear. So I'll just summarize what we've learned today for all the viewers out there. You are one of the best ways to play the global decarbonization trend, whether in the Philippines or worldwide, because this is a clean renewable energy company. The contracts are indexed to inflation. There's an incentive, guaranteed yung fiscal, yung kunento niya, yung mga fiscal incentives like income holiday, WSM rates are indexed to inflation. So it doesn't matter kung inflation is 6% or 5% or whatever percent, because the contracts can be indexed to inflation. Consistent dividends, so the company already has a plan to pay 30 to 50% dividend policy. You have the expertise to build out scalable farms. We can clearly see that from your 2015 till today. It's currently 8 years already in the business of solar power. Strong payback periods. We can see that your financing is completed, and 70-30 debt equity means that you are, and the financing is cheap, 6%. Your payback period is somewhere within 4.5 to 7 years. And 20 years yung guaranteed na, well, hindi naman guaranteed, but 20 years yung life, at least 20 years, no? 20 to 25 years, the life of a plant before it degrades. Okay, so I think those are one of the highlights that I could say. At 10 to 12 times PE ratio at current levels of about 1.4 peso per share or below, assuming the yields will be 3 cents to 6 cents, people can project around 2 to 4% yield a year while they wait. So cheap valuation, good yields, and quite a visible business. Visible yung earnings growth and revenue due to the fact that the plants are opening. Kumbaga, nagko-construct, and then maybe 50% or 30% growth on the revenue and the earnings for next 2024, which can grow your dividend policy another from 3 cents to 6 cents, maybe higher pa than 6 cents if we do get a good WSM rate. Thank you. Tama ba yung pag-summarize ko?
Thank you for inviting us, Nikki.
Yes, sir. Okay, so for everyone who wants to view the slide deck, that's actually released by PSE Star. That is May 10, 2023. The company was invited. I think PSE Star is given to mga new companies listed, no, for the stock market.
Yes.
It's mga small. Hindi hindi ko alam what does a star mean. Hindi ko na nakita, basta nakita ko lang sa Edge na nga may PSE Star, but I think it's a way for the Philippine Stock Exchange to really introduce new companies to everyone that are not well known to the public. Okay, so There is there's if you have more questions with the company, you can definitely check out their website. Their website here is, share natin yung website ng ASLAG. It's raslag.com.ph, and then investor relations, news and events. The company is very easy to understand if you will just try to digest. But I think most people kasi solar is a little bit far off for them. But I think that if they understand energy is just a utility, then maybe they can see the value at the current price. Thank you so much, guys. Salamat. Bye-bye. Thanks for your time. Thank you. All right.